Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. As the big voice said, service centers, Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and West Des Moines, Iowa, all there to help you out with your computer needs. Make sure that your computer is doing what you want it to do. Not only that, but we also can assist over the Schrock desk, fuel prices being what they are. Sometimes, you don't want to drive it all the way in for something that's easy, something that's tough enough that you can't really talk it through it on the phone, but easy enough that when you bring it in, you're like, why did I even bring that in? So yeah, I mean, it's really neat. We can connect over the Schrock desk. It's a one-time connection. We can never reconnect to your computer again. You can get another connection. If you call us, we give you a new code and we get a new connection. So it's very secure. And basically, we can see your screen as you see it and experience the problem as you experience it. And it really gives us insight that sometimes words have trouble conveying, especially sometimes, regular people don't know the technical terms for things. And sometimes technicians try to say, is it down in the taskbar? And you're like, where's the taskbar? I don't know what that is. What's a taskbar? Now, if you click on the start button and go to settings, where's the start button? Like literally, that's some of the people that we talk to, they don't know these things. And so it's a lot easier sometimes just to get connected over the Schrock desk. Sometimes not. Sometimes just getting connected on the Schrock desk takes longer than solving the problem, not because it's difficult to connect, but because of that language barrier. And that's why we try to hire the people that we do to get you through it, to treat you in a nice, friendly way, and have a great experience all the way around. One of the things I'm going to say early here, had a really interesting week. My son turned 16, and we took a father-son trip to Las Vegas. And a lot of people say, well, what are you going to do with a 16-year-old in Las Vegas? I will tell you all about the trip during the aftershock. I'm not going to bore you with it. But one of the things that I came away with, we stayed at the Venetian, so we got a nice hotel room and everything. I wanted him to have a good time. There's a place called Battlefield Vegas in Vegas, which was the purpose of the trip, where you can shoot big guns, like 50 cal Browning machine guns mounted to APCs, armored personnel carriers. Things like you can shoot a tank, like an actual real tank. You can fly in a helicopter and shoot targets on the side of a mountain. Literally, you name it, you can do it at Battlefield Vegas. So that's what he wanted. He wanted to go. He loves to talk about all the old guns, World War II guns and World War I guns, and go to the gun museum down in Kansas City and go to the World War I museum and see all the guns in there. So to go shoot some of these weapons, shot a grease gun, shot a Tommy gun, things like that. Just was great. He had a great time. So that's what we went to do in Vegas with a 16-year-old. That's the long story short. But everything on the entire trip, I got exactly what I paid for the whole time. The entire trip, everybody met expectations precisely. Yet I still left feeling like it wasn't a great experience from a service perspective. Whenever I travel, guys, when I get away, I was gone for 4 days. When I get away from the shops, it's kind of like I'm in the weeds at the shops, and I'm seeing all the problems behind the scenes. Sometimes it's hard to pick yourself up and lift yourself out from the customer's perspective. And what does the customer see when they walk into the shop that I look at every day that I'm, eye blind to? What about the service experience? And as you go and experience service at other places and you feel, they didn't do anything wrong, but I'm still walking out the door feeling like, And, that Battlefield Vegas, they were awesome. Like, those guys were amazing. Guys and gals, they were amazing. But it was the Venetian. You're going to go stay at a fancy hotel in Las Vegas, in a fancy room in Las Vegas. Now, I don't gamble, so, we didn't go drop a bunch of money in the casino or anything. And he's 16, right? Although, there were entire families with, like, preschool-age children in the casino on the floor after midnight, because you have to walk through the casino floor to get anywhere in the building. And I thought that was kind of odd. Like, you have a baby in a bar. Okay. But, hey, it's Vegas, I guess. You don't deal with humans anymore because there are no people. We saw a person when we checked in. There was a concierge that was there part hours in the middle of the casino floor. Otherwise, if you wanted to talk to a human, you wait in like a 50-person line. You call down to get an extended checkout. Everything is automated. They checked to see whether they said, no, you can't have an extended checkout. So we went downstairs, waited in the 50-person line, and they said, of course, Mr. Schrock, we'd be happy to give you a checkout at 1 p.m. Complimentary. So why am I getting a different answer from the human than the automated system? Those little things make me turn around, number one, and it makes me appreciate the individual efforts of every one of my employees and what they do every day in the service centers to make sure that our customers don't leave the service center feeling that way. But then, of course, you'd be a narcissist to think that you were perfect, right? So there's got to be some customers leaving my service centers feeling the way I felt like Schrock did everything. I bought a new computer. I got everything I paid for, and it's what I came to get. Yet when I leave, I wanted a bigger experience about buying this because it's a big purchase for people. It's a $600-700 purchase, $800 purchase, holiday special, $1,600 purchase. It's a big deal, and so it got my gears turning, my wheels turning on service experience. But that's one of the things, probably one of the smaller things that separates Schrock from other computer repair service centers in town. We periodically send our guys out to shop other computer service centers. So they put on a regular T-shirt, they purposefully break a computer with a known problem, and they take it to another computer repair shop to have them, quote unquote, fix it. And we see if they find the problem or multiple problems or how they work. Basically, we have the guys make sure you notice how the place smells when you go in. Do they have an aquarium on the wall? One of our competitors does. Is it a converted house where you don't know if you're going in the front door or the back door, but you could go in either one? One of our competitors is set up that way. It's just these weird experiences where it kind of made me feel unsettled because I didn't know what door to go in. Little things like that are the things that differentiate, great companies from good companies. And we try to do those things at Schrock. And one of the ways that we try to do that, we try to make sure that we keep you on top of what is happening in the tech world around you. Part of that is this radio show. We're going to talk about great stories today that last week, of course, if you missed the program last week, guys, it was a great show. You can pick it up on our website, SchrockInnovations.com, click on radio show. Also YouTube, Facebook, the whole bit. But last week, we told you a little bit about the 2.2H2 update that's coming up for both Windows 10 and Windows 11. We had the privacy concerns surrounding Amazon's purchase of iRobot and why people were concerned about that. The importance of upgrading to Windows 11 if you can, if your hardware will allow it, why that is so important. And then we told you yet another awesome thing that Microsoft is releasing exclusively for Windows 11 users to keep your computer safer from ransomware. Again, trying to create that differentiation between Windows 10 and Windows 11. Microsoft is going to keep doing that, guys. Windows 11 is going to keep advancing while Windows 10 is going to slowly stagnate until 2025 when Windows 10 is no longer safe to run and you either have to buy a new computer or you have to upgrade to 11. 11's not that much different than 10. The biggest thing you notice when you first turn it on is your start button is in the center instead of on the left. Of the task bar at the bottom of the screen there. The little bar goes across the bottom. Coming up on the program today, guys, we're going to go a little bit more in depth on 2.2H2, what it is and what's going on and what you need to do to prepare for that update. Also, did you know that the Apple Lightning connector is going away? It's that charging connector for the bottom of your iPhone. Yeah, the newer devices are not going to come with Apple Lightning connectors anymore. We're going to tell you why this is and how Apple plans to make a boatload of money off of it. Also, again, we talk a lot about security on the program. We talk a lot about the threats that are coming for you. I got another one today. I can tell you about the $1 Million ransomware gang. Now, they're attacking hospitals, right? So you don't have to worry about them so much. But this is the threat that's out there because when the hospitals get hardened, guess who these guys are coming after? Then they're not going to come after you for $1 million, but they're going to come after you for what they think they can get. So what is Sophos, the antivirus that we recommend at Schrock? Why did we choose that antivirus product? Why is it better? What are the cool things that it can do that your AVG or your Norton won't do for you? There are very specific things that help keep you safer and not just safer from viruses and malware, but safer from social engineering. When those scammers get on the phone with grandma, grandpa, mom, or dad and try to talk them into letting them remotely connect to the computer. And then they say, oh, look, it's all messed up. We got to fix it. We have pieces of Sophos that help defend against that too. So I wanted to spend a brief segment on the show today telling you about Sophos. Yes, of course, we sell it. Yes, I want to tell you about it. And yes, I hope you buy it. Yes, I hope you buy it because we want you as a customer and we value your business. But yes, I want you to buy it because Sophos is the piece of the puzzle, the security puzzle, that if you don't have it, you have no idea how unsafe you are right now. If you have Norton LifeLock, if you have McAfee, if you have WebRoot or Malwarebytes, the level of security that Sophos brings to the table is a world higher than what you're getting from those consumer-grade products. So I wanted to spend a segment to tell you about that so you kind of knew about it. That way, if you bring your computer in and we're like, hey, you should get Sophos. A lot of times it's an easy sell because whatever you're running, let's say it's McAfee, we scan your computer for malware and we find 4 viruses. And we're like, well, here are the viruses. You're running McAfee. So you can pay us to remove the viruses. That's cool. But if you don't replace McAfee, they're just going to come back. You'll pay us again. So why don't we solve the problem, right? It's usually a really easy sell because it's obvious. But it's a little tougher on computers that come back and they're clean. And you're like, well, you have AVG and your computer doesn't have any viruses. We really recommend Sophos because you're really lucky here. But it's harder to explain to people that they're lucky than they are when they're infected. It's easier then. Also, for those of you out there who are looking for a new career, possibly a second career, some of you maybe who are listening who have children or grandchildren who, it used to be a dirty word to say they were going to go into the trades, because that meant you were too stupid to go to college, right? That was the connotation of that. That is changing rapidly, guys. We're coming rapidly to a time here where we're going to have to make stuff again in America. Now, I'm not talking about apocalyptic wars or anything like that, but just the onshoring of industry is going to become important again because of the instability of international transactions in industry. So the global economy is fragmenting a bit, and we need to be ready to step in on that, but we don't have the people to do it. Lo and behold, you know how hard it is to hire an electrician in Omaha to put a light switch in? I'm not talking about complex things. Like, we need you to come out and put an outlet in. Like, the outlet's on one side of the wall. I want you to flip it to the other side of the wall. I might be able to get out there and squeeze you in, and after my other job, maybe a week, 2 weeks from now. What? My goodness. We tried to call an air conditioner repairman for the Papillion Service Center, the normal company that we call. Yeah, we can get a guy out there next Wednesday. My staff collectively looked at me like, oh, please, Papa Schrock. I said, call around, find somebody else. And we did, and they did, and they came out and they fixed it. We just had this company service this air conditioner a few months ago, so it's kind of frustrating. So anyway, it's you can't find people to do the trade. So if you are somebody who is looking for a new career, or maybe you're young and you're just getting started and you want to step into a $50,000 a year plus job with no student loan debt, well, electricity is the future, my man. And it sounds weird. It's like I'm in the 1800s again. Electricity is the future. Behold, and you flip the giant levered switch, and then the street lights up. Electricity is the future. Think about it. EVs, charging stations, robotics, space exploration, oil exploration, windmills. They all have wires. They all need electricians. And we don't have enough of them. So we're going to tell you how to get a free education in the Omaha metro area to become an electrician, where you will then have a guaranteed job starting around $50,000 a year. So yeah, good stuff, good stuff. 888-250-2091. So this is the kind of stuff we try to do on the program to provide value, to provide entertainment, to make a show that you guys want to listen to. Do it every week. The moment that we believe that we've hit the perfect secret recipe formula and everything is great and we don't need to change a thing. Like the other day I was talking, some of our commercials need to be updated a little bit that we run during the show. We haven't updated them in a while, and some of them have been updated, but we need to update more of them. And I was like, I don't know, we haven't touched that theme music in like a decade either. But then someone reminded me that Rush Limbaugh never changed his theme music in 20-something years. So, okay, I think we can keep going with the theme music. So we're always trying to provide you new products, new services, new exciting things to keep your computer safe. Things like the Freedom Modular program, where it's a different way to buy your computer. Instead of walking in the door and dropping a check for, $800, you can come in, you pay 20% down, and you have monthly payments, and you get a whole raft of services because you're not buying the computer, you're basically renting it. But then you're not going to keep renting a computer that doesn't work, right? So you get a warranty. We're going to fix it if it breaks. You get a free subscription to the Schrock Desk included. So there's all kinds of really great things that you can get being a Freedom Modular customer that, maybe that's the right path for you. If you think that Freedom Modular is part of the New World Order where you will own nothing and you'll be happy, well, then you can buy your computer. We'll sell you one. We don't care. It's up to you. Sometimes some people have different needs, and we're trying to meet all those different needs, especially in a recessionary time. One of the things that we try to do for you is we try to make sure your computer doesn't break. One of the things that's coming that was going to break a lot of computers is the 22H2 update for Windows 10 and Windows 11. It's a little confusing because the update number is the same. Whether you have Windows 10 or Windows 11, it's still 22H2, 2022 half 2 update, which of course they only release annually now. So why is it half 2? I don't know. So anyway, this update is an upgrade to your Windows operating system. It's literally taking you from one version of Windows and moving you to another version of Windows and then transferring all of your files over. When this happens, we see all kinds of problems. We see boot loops where the computer just keeps rebooting. We see fail to install where the computer just won't install the update. You guys know who you are. Every single time you get one of these updates comes out, even if you buy Safe Upgrade, you're calling the service center and you're going to have to call the service center so we can install it manually for you. It's just some people just started bringing it in rather than even buying Safe Upgrade because they know that that's just how their computer is going to go. We see customers that get blue screens after upgrading because something they had in the computer or on the computer is not compatible with the new version of Windows 10 when it was compatible with the old version of Windows 10, because that's not confusing at all. Is it Windows 10 compatible or not? Depends on the version. We see computers that never reboot. They just black screen. We see computers that reboot, but there's no data. All the files are gone. And you're like, what happened to my stuff? So we see all these things happening to customers, and it happened every single time, often to the same people. So we created a product called Safe Upgrade. And what Safe Upgrade does is it installs this major Windows upgrade the same way we would do it in the service center. It's going to check your hard drive health. It's going to make sure your third-party software is up to date. It's going to make sure that your computer is nice and clean. Then it's going to download the update, not from Microsoft Slow Server, but from our Amazon AWS server that's super fast. Then once it's downloaded to your computer, it'll install it on your computer. And then it'll reboot your system, confirm that the installation took successfully, and then give you the thumbs up. All of that for $59.99. Now, you need one copy for every computer that you want to safely upgrade. And you would need this for each Windows upgrade. So if you bought one last time, you can't use the one you bought last time. You've got to use the new one for the 22H2 update. Now, we sent out an email. We did one radio show so far on this. That's all we've done. Right now, real time here, let me refresh it so it is real time, just so I'm not saying something that's not true. There are 272 of the original 600 copies left in stock. So we're not going to sell out today, guys, okay? It's not like you have to rush to your computers or your phones right now and go to SchrockInnovations.com and then click on Shop and then go to Software or Specials and pick up your copy of Safe Upgrade. It's not like you have to do it in this very moment in time. However, it is something you should do as quickly as possible and get one for each computer before we do sell out. It's a hard limit of 600 because that's the number of people, if something does go sideways, that my staff can reasonably support. It's crazy. We're hiring people. They come into work. We had one guy watch the video training that we have when people come in that explains like what we do and how we do it, and he quit. He went to lunch and he never came back. And we're like, well, what we do is not for everybody. It's not the troll in the back room that fixes computers' job. No, we talk to customers. We make recommendations to customers. We have a responsibility to help our customers, and we take that very seriously at Schrock. So we hope that you would trust us with your computer and trust us to take care of your IT needs as well. Of course, we have those 4 locations to help you out, the Schrock Desk as well. But right now, the number to join us immediately on the program and have your chance of winning a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate is 888-250-2091. We're going to take a quick break, guys. But when we come back, Dave and Dean, it's the D Show, coming up next on Compute This.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in. The train rolls on. Welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. 4 great locations to help you out when your computer needs it, when you need someone to secure your system, make sure that your infrastructure is working right. You know, for example, I had a Wi-Fi router do some really weird stuff last week. So I logged into the router because I was having internet troubles. It was dropping. And everything was fine from Cox, the internet service provider. They said, everything's great. Go into the router, and I'm saying, well, let me just double check. Is the firmware up to date? I mean, it's all set to auto, so it should be up to date. And it said it was up to date, and it said this is the firmware version number. But then when I clicked on the check signature to make sure the firmware was legit, it just failed. And it could have been because my internet was down. So I went to the ASUS website, looked to their support page for my router, found the current firmware, and lo and behold, the most current version of the firmware was a different version than the one I had installed from the auto installer. I thought, well, that's odd. And I installed it. It didn't fix my problem, but I just thought that was really odd. And then, of course, then it said I was up to date when I clicked check. It said, hey, you're up to date. I'm like, okay. Turns out my son's wire to his computer, which had been working perfectly fine for a year, suddenly, if I plug that wire in, the router goes like bonkers. And if I don't, it doesn't. If he connects over Wi-Fi, he's fine. So we're going to make a new wire and test that out later on. But those are the kind of problems, the troubleshooting that we do for customers every day. It was a little weird. It was kind of like the mechanic's car thing. The mechanic has the nastiest looking, loudest car in town. The side panel's off my computer and stuff in my office, you know. Again, I'll put it back on at some point. I'm not worried about it. But no, it was the same diagnostic troubleshooting that we would do for a customer in their home. And luckily I was able to do my own. I don't do my own electric work or my own plumbing, but I was able to do that. So, you know, it's one of those trades that we are hiring, by the way, at Schrock, and we will train you and pay you to train, not only training you in, a lot of people think that Schrock is like a computer repair company. We're a service company that happens to do computer repair. So when you work at Schrock, you're learning the nuts and bolts IT stuff, of course, break, fix, IT, introduction to IT. You're learning about computer security, how viruses get in, how you get them out once they get in. You're learning about customer service, meeting expectations, exceeding expectations, setting expectations with customers. You're learning all the interpersonal skills, the nonverbal. We have to teach kids nonverbal communication skills when they come work for us. Like if you're wearing a hoodie with the hood up, sitting at the front desk looking down while the customer is talking to you, they're going to get the impression, even though you don't intend it, that you maybe don't care too much about them at the moment. If you're giving the whole sullen teenager vibe, you know, you can't do that. you got to be attentive, and you have to make eye contact, and you have to speak with a loud, confident voice. You have to make recommendations. You have to be confident in your recommendation. These are all the things that we teach a new employee at Schrock. So if you have a son, daughter, maybe yourself, or you're interested in coming to work for a company where you can have something new to work on every day, new challenge every day, and talk to all kinds of interesting people all the time who do bring you food from time to time. You can come apply to Indeed.com. Just search for Schrock, SCHROCK, and you'll find the jobs there. 888-250-2091. Dave, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Morning, Thor.
Morning.
I bought a 2020 Venture from you guys, and it came with Windows 10 at the time.
Right.
I checked the settings on it this morning, and also I got an email from Schrock saying that if I was interested in upgrading to Windows 11. When I check my system requirements, it says right now that I do have Windows Home 11 on there right now. So is that okay? And I also purchased the Safe Upgrade, or do I need to do something else?
No. If you have Windows 11, you're good to go. Basically, we sent the email out to everyone who purchased a Windows 10 computer from us. So if you have,
gotcha.
if you have Windows 11, you're good to go. Yes, you still need Safe Upgrade because there's going to be an update whether you're running Windows 11 or Windows 10. It's a different update for each version of Windows that's going to do different things for each version of Windows, which is why this is going to be a complete donkey show when this thing comes out. It's going to be a mess. So that's why we have Safe Upgrade.
I have a. Okay, I'm up currently. I got the 21H2 on there right now.
Yep, that's current. So you're looking for two. There was no 22H1. Let me double check that.
Okay.
Hold on. Before I say that, I said that with such confidence. You see, I've taught all these children. Say it with confidence, and everyone will believe you. Of course, my computer's at home is on the beta version of 22H2. I've been running the 22H. See, this is the things I do for you guys. I'm running beta software on my main home computer that I do important things on. No, 21H2 is the most recent version of Windows 11. So 21H2.
Okay.
And then 22H2. There was no 22H1 because they switched to an annual deployment.
Will it change the look of the startup menu? Because I heard you earlier say that the start button is now moved to the center of the screen. And one of our work computers, it's I'll just call it a Brand X computer, has Windows 11 on it, and I noticed that mine still has the start button down in the lower left. But I mean, I guess that's not a big deal. But
you can customize it.
Is it going to change the look of things at all?
You can customize it. Yeah. So if you want to put it back in the lower left, you can. So the current version of Windows 11 has a little weather report in the lower left-hand corner. In 22H2, the weather report's gone. So, I mean, they kind of cleaned it up a little bit again. So small cosmetic changes are what you're going to see on the surface, but underneath the ransomware protections, everything that's going into it, I mean, this is the first major update for Windows 11 ever.
Okay.
It's never happened before.
I
remember the first one for Windows 10? How bad that was?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be bad. But that's why you get Safe Upgrade.
I already have purchased. I did purchase the Safe Upgrade, so I'll just wait to hear from you guys when it's ready to install.
Perfect. We're going to give you a call, an email, a text message, a smoke signal, a radio show mention when we're ready to go, just to make sure that everyone who purchased Safe Upgrade knows that it's time to run the software. So you will hear from us. It'll probably be late October or September when the update is released.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk to you soon. 888-250-2091. Got to take a quick break. Dean, hang with us. We went a little long here. When we come back, we're going to take Dean's call right away, and then the Apple Lightning connector is going away. How Apple's going to make a boatload of money off of this one, coming up next on Compute This.
Drive Advisor is a free program from Schrock Innovations that monitors your hard drive's health and tells you if it's going bad. Download it for free at driveadvisor.com. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed semantic endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. And now, Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Schrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier. So take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. One person was killed Saturday when a man drove his car into a crowd in eastern Pennsylvania. 17 were injured. That same man then drove to a neighboring county where he killed a woman.
The male, who is the suspect in both incidents, is in custody as we speak.
State Trooper Anthony Petrosky. A former mayor of New York City has a court date in Georgia this week.
A grand jury meeting in Atlanta and charged with investigating whether Donald Trump interfered with the state's presidential election in 2020 is expecting to hear from Rudy Giuliani, who served the former president as a lawyer in the post-election. The prosecutor suspects the Trump campaign and its officials worked to subvert Georgia's conducting of the presidential election in their state.
Fox's Evan Brown. And 12 days after a visit from Speaker Nancy Pelosi, a 5-member congressional delegation is now visiting Taiwan. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Partly sunny this afternoon. We'll have a high around 87, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 1 a.m. tonight with a low of 69. On and off showers and storms on Monday. Best chance of storms will be on Monday night. That's your forecast. I'm Roger Olson.
All righty, folks. Welcome back in. Halftime is over. Hope everybody got their potty breaks in, got their popcorn refilled, because it's time for the second half of Compute This. 888-250-2091. Dean has been ultra patient with us. Dean, you are up next on Compute This. How can I help you today?
Well, I had the maintenance special done at the end of July.
Okay.
And, I'm generally happy with the results. But there were a couple hiccups in there.
Okay.
You deleted my recycle bin. I recycle files. I go back and get some sometimes. I did a backup before I gave it to you, so I can go back and get that. But you also took away in File Explorer the list of recent files.
Right. So
yeah.
When we do a maintenance checkup, we run a program called CCleaner, and the C stands for a 4-letter word that means poo. But it cleans all the C off your computer. So I mean, I love you. You're a customer. You're coming in, you're listening to the radio show, you're on Facebook at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. But, I mean, it's a standing joke about the customer who told us all of his important files were in the recycle bin. I mean, that's like a 101 joke in the company. Like, don't empty that recycle bin. They might have important files in there. What? People save stuff in the recycle. Don't save stuff in your recycle bin. If you're not sure you want to get rid of it, just throw it in a folder, because putting it in the recycle bin doesn't free up the space on your hard drive. It's still there.
Yeah.
But yes.
Well, I got a 1 terabyte hard drive, so it's not a big problem.
Gotcha. So yeah, just throw it in a folder until you're sure you want to get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, I would suggest that you develop an app to look at what are my settings on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And, I understand you have to reset some of that stuff in order to do the maintenance. But at the same time, when it comes back, all my desktop icons were resized to tiny and rearranged. Well, okay, so it took me 2 minutes to straighten that out.
Yeah,
But,
that
you know,
shouldn't.
it
Your
would
your
just be
desktop.
nice.
Yeah, your desktop resolution should. There's no reason to change the desktop resolution for a maintenance checkup. So I'm not sure. Not sure what that was all about. The rearranging of the icons. What'll happen sometimes, especially if you have your desktop set to auto arrange, when we install programs on the computer and update programs, a lot of times it'll stick the icons for those programs on the desktop, which kind of bloats out your desktop, and so there's a lot of unnecessary icons for the Adobe Acrobat Reader that we updated, and things like that. And so we go through and delete those icons off the desktop, which can cause a shifting or a rearranging of the icons.
Yeah.
So I apologize for that. It's one of those things that we can't really get around that. But your desktop resolution, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That shouldn't have been changed during a maintenance checkup by our software for any reason.
Yeah, it's I'm really satisfied with the service I got. And you talked earlier about how whoever's at the front desk needs to be welcoming and all of that, and that's really what happened. I had a very pleasant experience.
Which service center did you go to, Dean?
Papillion.
Oh, perfect. So you dealt with Marissa.
I didn't get her name, but that's very possible.
Well, if it was a her, it was Marissa. She tries to keep those boys.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention that and say, thanks for the good work. You guys rock. You guys really rock.
Well, thank you, Dean. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate the pointers on how we can improve and how we can get better, because it's those little things. Like I said, I don't want people to leave my service center and have the feeling that they met every expectation I had, but there was just a couple, I don't want any, I want it to be all butter, all butter smooth. So thank you very much, Dean. I appreciate your call this afternoon. We do have you in the drawing as well for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Not that you'll need it anytime soon, but maybe you could use it toward a safe upgrade or something. 888-250-2091. John writes on Facebook, shout out to Parker at the Lincoln store who helped me get my secure updater going again. The license had expired and I renewed it on Friday, but it still wasn't working on Saturday. He remoted in, got it working. That's over the Schrock desk. Got it working. And while he was in there, he also found a bunch of startup programs that were slowing down my computer, and he fixed that too. Awesome employee, that Parker. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate that, and I will pass that on to Parker. Everybody loves a compliment, and everybody loves it when it's shared on the radio show. So that gets shared around the company pretty heavily. So I appreciate that. 888-250-2091. So the Apple Lightning connector is going away. This has been happening for some time now, but if you haven't bought a new expensive iPad or something in the recent past, or a MacBook, you may not have noticed. So MacBooks now all charge off USB-C. iPads, all the new iPads are USB-C. That's the oval connector, as opposed to the Lightning connector, which looks like a little stick that you stick in the bottom of the phone or the iPad. Apple, it was basically the European court ruled that to reduce e-waste, they want to standardize chargers across all mobile devices. And they all said USB-C is a standard because Apple's Lightning is proprietary, so they can't make other companies use Lightning. USB-C is open source. Everybody can use it. Everybody must sell USB-C charging capable devices in the European Union. Well, Apple's not going to make two different phones, one for Europe, one for the rest of the world. So they just moved to USB-C on everything. But they're phasing it in, right? So you have, first it was the MacBooks, then it was the iPads. The next iteration of the iPhone will probably be USB-C. But the AirPods are the last ones to get it. It could be 2024 before AirPod charging cases do not have a Lightning connector in them. And what does this mean? When you buy a new device, a lot of times you get a charging cable, but you don't get a brick anymore. That means you're going to have to buy some bricks. And that means you're going to want to buy a certified authorized brick to protect your valuable Apple product, right? And who else is better positioned to sell you that device than Apple themselves? Oh, yes. So the USB-C conversion is something Apple probably didn't want to do, but they're going to find a way to make money from it. 888-250-2091. Also, when we talk about security, keeping your version of Windows 10 current is incredibly important. Because if you get more than 2 versions behind, this is when they were releasing them every 6 months. If you got 2 versions behind, you don't get Windows updates anymore. You don't get those security patches from Microsoft. Well, now that they only release it once a year, we don't know if that means if you get 1 version behind, you lose your security updates. Wouldn't make a ton of sense to do it that way. or if it's still 2 versions, but now you can go 2 years. We just don't know. Microsoft hasn't made that policy clear yet. So the best policy from a security standpoint is to make sure you're running the most recent software your computer can run at all times. That is in Windows. Make sure your Windows updates are installed. That is with your third-party applications. Maybe you have CCleaner on your computer. Maybe you have Adobe Reader or Zoom or Dropbox. If you have any of those programs, you have at least one update a week. At least one a week that you're supposed to be doing, that you're probably not doing, but we'll get to that in a second. And then, of course, there's the antivirus component, making sure that you have an active defense against all the vectors of attack for cybersecurity. So we'll deal with these one at a time. The first one, dealing with keeping your Windows updates current. It's pretty easy to check to see if you need Windows updates, right? You click on Start, you click on the Settings gear, and you click on Windows Update, and you say Check for Updates. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of updates do not automatically download from the Windows Update site. You have to click on there's the important ones you get, but there's the recommended updates. If you click, when you come in for a maintenance checkup, we're installing the recommended updates. But if you click on that link for recommended updates, you'll see a list of all kinds of updates for all the hardware in your computer and things that you would normally, that aren't critical to install, but are updates that close security vulnerabilities and improve performance of the devices. You want to install those updates. So you get all those updates installed. Great. Now you're a Windows Update aficionado. What happens when a new version of Windows Update comes out? You click on Start, you click on Settings, you click on Check for Updates because maybe you're going to do your own 22H2 because you don't need that stupid safe upgrade stuff. Your computer is running Windows 11 beautifully for the last year. You click on Check for Updates and you don't see it. Microsoft has deemed that your computer is too old, too off-brand, not tested yet, whatever the case might be. And the people who have the rubber stamp Dells and Acers and HPs are the people who are going to get the update first. They're going to be the first guinea pigs. Then once we know how it goes with them, we're going to push it on to people who have unknown or questionable hardware configurations. In other words, people who didn't buy from HP or Dell or Acer or someplace like that. So then those people get it. So when you click on Start and Settings, you may not even see the update available. But it's available. You could go find it if you go Google it or duck it and look for it, and you can find it, and you can download it yourself and install it. That's what Safe Upgrade does. It really makes your life a lot easier, and most importantly, it gives you a warranty. If something goes sideways during the update or after the update, you have someone local you can call that will help you. It's super important to have that with these big upgrades, especially this one, because this one is going to be wacky all the way around. So make sure you get a copy of Safe Upgrade. Third-party software. We have a product called Secure Updater. And Secure Updater automatically and silently updates a host, like 30 different third-party programs that you may or may not have on your computer. When you install them, Secure Updater says, oh, you want to run that now. We'll keep tabs on that program for you. If you don't want it to update a program, you can uncheck it, and it won't update it. But Secure Updater, it's literally like $30 a year. And it just works in the background to make sure you have the most recent version of all these third-party programs. Why is that important? They don't release these updates because they're bored on a Tuesday night. They release the updates because some hacker dude somewhere found a vulnerability. Let me give you an example. Some of the dudes that we were going out with in Battlefield Vegas also had an IT background. And they were telling us about a specific casino in Vegas who they had been hired to do a security IT consult for. So they walked in the door, and he said, my guy with the laptop had their house Wi-Fi, not the guest Wi-Fi. The house Wi-Fi cracked in like 2 minutes. He was through it. And they were like, it doesn't matter if you get through that. We got firewalls. And he's like, no, actually on your Wi-Fi, your firewalls haven't been set up to cover the Wi-Fi entrance because, see right here, I can set all your slot machines to max pay and bankrupt you in an hour. No one's going to do that. Nah, that's not going to happen. You guys host DEF CON. The big hacker conference, the worldwide hacker conference where people come to report all the cool stuff they've hacked. You don't think someone's going to do that? Yeah. And he said, you know what their solution was for that? I'm like, they turned off the Wi-Fi. And he's like, damn straight. They turned off the Wi-Fi during DEF CON. So the hackers couldn't hack it because it was turned off. And I'm like, to this day, he doesn't know if they fixed it. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff with these third-party patches. When you have a vulnerability that maybe you don't, the casino didn't know that was a vulnerability, right? Well, that vulnerability can be stacked with another vulnerability to give an attacker complete access to a computer. So what we want to do is reduce the number of vulnerabilities, and we do that by installing software patches. And Secure Updater installs them within 8 hours of release. It is hugely important to have Secure Updater on your computer. You can check your Secure Updater status by looking down by your clock. And if you have Secure Updater, if the shield is green down there, not on the desktop, the one down by the clock, if it's green, you're good to go. If it's red, that means there's an update that needs to be installed that can't be installed. For example, if your Firefox or your Chrome is open, you're using it, and there's an update, it's not going to kick your browser shut in the middle of whatever you're doing, install an update. It's going to wait for you to close the browser, and then it'll try again and install the update. Or if it's black, that means your license is expired, that you no longer have a license on that computer and you need to renew. And we can definitely help you out with that as well. So then we get to Sophos. This is the big one. Sophos is the most amazing antivirus product I have ever seen. The capabilities, this is a corporate grade antivirus. So this is intended to be used by a network administrator who is watching over the flock of people in the office building who have varying degrees of IT acumen. Some of them are gonna email the Nigerian prince back, if you know what I mean. And some of them are savvy enough to know not to click on any links in an email, even if they appear to come from a legitimate person or source. So in that environment, you have to craft broad-based protections that work for a lot of people without limiting their ability to be productive. Consumer antivirus is intended to be used by hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions. So they have to be even more broad in what they allow, because there's just so many different uses out there that people, if you're running Norton LifeLock and it stops you from doing something you need to do for work, you're going to uninstall Norton LifeLock and you're not going to renew. They don't want that. So when you're running Sophos on your computer, Sophos is going to, number one, keep you safe from malware and viruses. It's going to stop things from getting into the computer in the front door. The second thing is we have configured it through the custom configuration at Schrock to disallow all remote access except for the Schrock desk. It sounds self-serving, but it's not. Let me explain. If somebody calls grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, whatever, and tries to trick them into letting them remote into the computer so that they can find a bunch of problems that don't exist and try to rack up a $400 bill, they can't remote in. Sophos stops it every time. We've had these guys try to talk people through removing Sophos. And they're like, I don't think I should remove it. That's the first sign that something's wrong. So then, if let's say you need to do something for work or something and you have to have remote access to the computer, you can call us at Schrock and we can turn it off. We can disable the remote access block so that you can go ahead and use remote access. So if you use remote access a lot like I do, I'm in the group that says, remote access is okay. We can craft a custom solution for your individual needs. Not only that, but the ransomware protection is off the charts. The entire time we have been running Sophos, we have not had a single customer get infected. In fact, we've had some customers who had Sophos, allowed it to expire despite all of our calls and efforts to get them to renew. We removed their Sophos license, which meant they got no more updates, but they were still running the Sophos program on their computer. For 2 years, that program kept their computer safe until they wandered back into the service center for something. We're like, you're 2 years out of date on your Sophos. Like, we are? Like, yeah, you got to renew. Oh, wow. That's how strong the program is. So all the way around, highly recommended. 888-250-2091. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, Jenny and Ron, your calls coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Guys, final segment of the program here. I want to remind everybody that we have an aftershock coming up with all kinds of stories from Vegas. We're going to tell you all the funny things that happen. You know, we didn't do anything inappropriate in Vegas, but there's no way to go to Vegas without seeing things that Mob might think was inappropriate. How does the 16-year-old brain respond when the girl with Paisleys on walks by and says, "Want a picture?" You know, what does the 16-year-old brain do? And I will tell you what the 16-year-old brain does during the aftershock today. All right, 888-250-2091. Also, real quickly mention before we go to Jenny's call here, in the service centers, we are still doing core upgrades. We have 13 more processors on the way to the service centers. We have, I think, one customer waiting right now. Everybody else has been taken care of. The sale that we have going on this goes through the end of August, where you can save half off on the labor of a core upgrade. What is a core upgrade? That's when you take a Windows 10 computer that is not Windows 11 compatible, and we change out either the motherboard, the processor, the memory, or all three if needed to make it Windows 11 compatible. Who should do this? Anybody with a holiday special. This makes 100% sense to do. It is less than half the cost of a new holiday special. Number two, anybody with a 2019 or 2020 holiday special, you do not need any parts. Your computer will not automatically go to Windows 11, but we can change one setting and it will. And then we can install Windows 11 and you get it for half price and it's just labor. There's no parts. It's $125 in and out for a Windows 11 upgrade and you've got Windows 11. If you don't do a Windows 11 upgrade, you will have to toss your computer in 2025. So there's not a huge, I'm not saying that it's the end of times if you don't come in and do the Windows 11 upgrade now. But you can save $125 if you do it now, which makes sense. So if you're going to do it, now is the time to do it. You can wait till 2025 and make a decision then. It's just going to cost more. Just like everything else by 2025. If it keeps going up at, 8.4% official per year, 9% a year, whatever it's going to be, it's going to cost more in 2025. So they say it's always cheaper. If you're going to buy a house, it's always cheaper to do it right now than it is to do it next year. If you're going to upgrade to Windows 11, it's probably cheaper to do it right now than it is to wait till next month. 888-250-2091. Jenny, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Hey, Thor, we took our computer in for maintenance checkup 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Got it back. Now the fan would run longer after we shut it off.
Yes, I saw your email about this, Jenny.
Off. Yes, and I got told I can call back, check on it after a few days. Called back. The service center said, well, we'll give you a call back on Friday. Never heard anything.
Gotcha.
And I was told that they don't have enough people at the service center here in Lincoln to service our computer.
Okay, well, that's not something you should... Even if that was true, that's not something my employee should say. You know, it's not like, it's real busy in here. We don't have time for you, lady. That's not good service. And so I saw your email, and you shared all these things in the email when you send it through. I get a copy of every email that comes through the company from the contact form, so I can kind of keep a heartbeat on what's going on. I was in Vegas when I saw your email, so I couldn't do anything about it. But when I got back, I did forward that email to my operations manager, Parker, who is also in the process of training new crew in the Lincoln Service Center. We literally hired 2 new people for the Lincoln Service Center. One of them is doing great. The other guy worked 1 day and quit. He was like, I can't do it. And he quit.
Okay.
Couldn't hack it. So We are trying to hire. We are down. So if you're looking for work, Jenny, we'd love.
Yeah, I know. I'm not IT savvy.
We'll train you. We'll train. If you're people savvy and you wouldn't say, we don't have enough people to service you, ma'am. If you wouldn't say that, then we can work with you. But basically, number one, the information that you originally received was not correct. The fan should turn off when you turn off the computer. So that was my first point with Parker. Training point one. Let's figure out who Jenny talked to originally to find out who.
It was Parker.
It was Parker. Okay. So it
was Parker.
The fan will stay on in some cases if you put the computer to sleep, but it should not stay on when you turn it off. Number two.
Yeah, it stayed on for 12 hours, and that's not good.
That shouldn't happen. And so it's probably there's a process in the computer that's not ending, that it's shutting everything else down and it's hanging on the last process and it's never getting the shutdown command. So something's not right there. We're probably going to need to look at it in the service center, which is what they were trying to avoid, having you bring it back in again if they could, to try to address it, any other way. But it sounds like something we're going to have to address in the service center, because we're going to need to restart it and turn it off and turn it on a bunch of times and see if the fan turns off. The second thing,
it's at the service center now, and it's been there for a week.
Okay, so that means it's really, there's something really not right. If it's been in there for a week and they're having trouble figuring out why it's not turning off. So Jenny, what I'm going to do is
I got told by the receptionist that they don't have time to look at the computer. That was the problem, and she told me that they don't have enough staff to even bother looking at it right now. So she didn't know when they were going to even look at it.
Okay,
that's the pinpoint.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me know that, Jenny. I will definitely talk with Kim about that in the Lincoln Service Center. And like I said, I know I got a text from Parker yesterday that the bench was mostly clear in Lincoln as of yesterday. Your computer is pretty much the only one in there to look at right now, because they brought help down from the other service centers to clear out the backlog in Lincoln, is what it sounded like. So they got it all caught up again. So I apologize that you had that experience, Jenny. That's not the experience that I want people to have, especially longtime customers like you who come into the service center who could say, this isn't how it used to be, All right. Thanks for the call, Jenny. We got to run here. I will definitely get that taken care of, and I'll make sure personally that your computer gets addressed as quickly as possible. All right. So real quickly, want to be an electrician? You can get a free education and become an electrician in Omaha right now, because Omaha needs them bad. This is let me get the name of the place right here. Building Omaha is looking to fill the need for skilled electrical workers. They will train you for free. Come in, basically get a free education, get paid while you're working, and then graduate into a skill that they can stay in for the rest of their lives. Mike Bonch, the executive director of the National Electrical Contractors Association's Nebraska chapter, said. So if you're looking to become an electrician or you want a new career, that's the place to look. Ron, stay on the line. I'll take your call off the air here. We've got to draw a winner. Did get you in the drawing. Today's winner is Dave. Congratulations, first caller of the show. You're the winner, $25. Marissa will add that to your Schrock account, and we'll see you all again next week for Compute This.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the USA furniture. This is News Radio 1110.